Hello everyone, Nadia here with Above and Below Astrology. Welcome. This is actually my first YouTube video. Normally I create a succession of videos, usually every Friday, that I share on my Instagram account. It's a lunar focused astrology Instagram account that features my work there with astrology, particularly lunar focused astrology. And so I'm making a transition and bringing my videos to YouTube so that I can make one long video instead of a succession of shorter videos, and hopefully it'll make it more congruent and easier for those of you who have already been watching to watch with maybe a little bit more ease and fluidity. And for those of you who are new or maybe have not seen me or my work before, I invite you to watch and see what you think. I appreciate you being here. And before I get into what I'm going to be delving into in this video, which is the full moon coming up next week on Monday. We have a full moon in Aquarius. I'm just going to provide a little bit of background info about myself, just for any of you who may be discovering me on YouTube or who may be new even to me over on Instagram, or even if you've been following me for some time and you just are not that familiar with me or my background. I would love just to share a little bit. I'm going to try to keep it short. But yes, my name is Nadia. As I said, I have been working in astrology, particularly through Instagram, for about a year and a half now. I began in February of 2019, and it's been really a beautiful journey and process, and I'm just continuing to experience a lot of growth and shifting and momentum, and I'm making a lot of beautiful connections through this work, and so I really appreciate that, and that feels so amazing. But I haven't always been doing this work. Professionally, I started my career as a registered nurse back in 2012, and I did that full time for maybe about 4 or 5 years, and then decided, I think it was about 4 years ago, it was the spring of 2016, I decided to completely step away from full-time nursing. I took a break for several months and just really focused on myself and my life and my experience, and processed a lot of things, and really got to know myself. I went within and really got to know who I was, and from there, so much since then has been just coming out of that and evolving and processing and integrating over the last 4 years. So I'm also a yoga instructor. I did a yoga teacher training back at the beginning of 2018. So I've been teaching yoga for over 2 years now, pretty consistently. Right now, I've stepped away just a little bit, backed off on that, and taken a bit of a break, just with everything that's been happening. I was offering online classes for the last several months, but now I'm kind of just taking a break from that. I think more so just a pause is what I'm saying, and really focusing more on my astrology work. And through this astrology work, I offer a couple of different things. Obviously, I offer free content on my Instagram page pretty much every day. You'll see almost every day, you'll see something from me there, and I share regular lunar updates. So every time the moon transitions into a new zodiac, I post an update, tapping into that energy, providing my insights and interpretations as far as that's concerned. And so you'll see a new post like that just about every 2.5 to 3 days typically. And then I also, on the days that I'm not sharing something like that, since that's usually about every other day or so, when I'm not sharing those updates, I share something else that I feel called to share. Sometimes it's messages that come through, usually related to where the moon is positioned, since I keep this pretty lunar focused. But you'll see different things there. I also offer a bi-weekly blog, so twice a month I'm posting a blog post. I actually just posted the most recent one today, all about this full moon in Aquarius. So for every new moon and for every full moon, I post a new blog post, also diving into my insights and interpretations, just surrounding that new moon phase and that full moon phase each month. And I also, in addition to that, create a monthly new and full moon e-workbook that's also available for purchase on my website. So that's another thing that I offer. That's actually a paid offering. And then I also offer mini natal chart readings, looking at your sun, moon, and rising signs. So that's a little bit about what I'm offering as far as astrology at the current time. I also have something that's in the works, an exclusive membership that I'm working on that I'm going to be releasing more details on later on. That's supposed to come out in the fall, probably October. So Not quite ready to share a lot on that yet, but that is something that I'm currently working on, and it actually is a collaborative process, and I have 3 other women involved in that. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you in the coming months. But yes, for now, that's a little bit about me and my background, and a little bit about why I do this work before I start diving into the full moon energy. I do this work because I feel like astrology, just like so many other things, just like yoga, as I teach yoga as well, they're tools. They're not things that we should rely upon necessarily or use as crutches or be so focused on that we're constantly looking outside of ourselves. I see them more as tools that actually assist us to go back within ourselves, because that's really where all that we need is. Everything that we need is within us. It always has been, it always will be. And whenever we can do anything that assists us to go deeper within ourselves, there's so much that we can unlock there, so much that we can discover there, so much more that we can use to help us shift and grow and learn and expand our awareness and our consciousness. So definitely not sharing anything with my work in any aspect, astrology, yoga, otherwise, to make anyone feel like they need to focus on those things so much that they're looking outside of themselves. But I'm really sharing this this work and this calling as a way to help you go back within yourself. And that's where so much really happened for me and shifted for me, is when I started going back within myself. And then from there, I've been able to use these tools, yoga, astrology, other things as well, crystals, different things that I've tapped into, but they all help me to go within. I don't use them as something to focus on and distract myself, but as actually a way to assist me to go within. So maybe that will resonate with you. And from there, now that I've given that introduction and introduced myself and explained a little bit about my why, I would like to start diving into more of the focus of this video, and that's going to be this upcoming full moon in Aquarius on Monday. So that full moon will take place on Monday, I think just before noon Eastern time. I think it's 11:58 a.m. And so this full moon is going to be very amazing, actually, in many ways, very interesting. The energy of Aquarius is not usually quite so emotional. It's a little bit emotionally unattached or detached, however you want to look at that. And full moons typically are a time where the emotions tend to get heightened and can feel really intense, but this time around that might not be the case. It might feel a little bit more cooling and softer as far as emotions go because of this Aquarius influence, and might not feel so much intensity with emotions, which will be nice. I mean, we just came out of Cancer season and eclipse season recently, so this might be a nice break for a lot of us, having this airy energy, something a little bit more light and fluffy with a full moon. So but there's a lot it's a very powerful full moon, and there's a lot that really could come through if we use it to our benefit. Aquarius energy is very open, very aware, very connected, very expansive, feels very limitless. So if you think of that airy energy and things just moving about freely and easily, that's another thing that you can think of to help you tune into that energy. But it's a really good time for us to also reflect. If you think back to earlier this year in February, the new moon that we had in February, and any intentions that we may have set, if you've set any during that time, if you're able to go back. Full moons are a great time to reflect anyway. So if you're able to go back to that time in February around the new moon that we had in Aquarius, this is a good time to see if any intentions that were set during that time are beginning to come to more fruition, because during a full moon, that's a time where a lot of the intentions begin to take more form and come into physical fruition, especially anything from 6 months ago that was intended when the moon was in the new moon phase in this sign, which is Aquarius this time around. So if you have a chance to reflect and kind of look back to that time about 6 months ago and just see if anything that you were really feeling at that time or working on within yourself, or any intentions that you set, just seeing if those are starting to come into greater fruition or physical manifestation in your current reality. So that's a good thing that you could do during this full moon. It's a time where our awareness will likely be heightened. We'll be maybe a little bit more open, able to receive things that's provided by the full illumination that this full moon gives. So the full moon is a time of full illumination, enlightenment. A lot can be made known. There's an opportunity to receive a lot of clarity. And that's a really beautiful combination with this Aquarius energy, because it's also just a time to be more open, more aware, more expansive, a little bit detached or removed from the emotions a little bit, so that we can receive different information from different sources and just be open to that, and maybe looking at things from a different perspective. Aquarius is very good about taking in the bigger picture, not getting so focused on the details and the minutia here and now so much that we lose sight of the bigger picture. So it's a great time to maybe step back and take in a different perspective, take in the bigger picture, feel your way through how things have been unfolding for you over this past year. We're well over the halfway point of this year now, and looking back, even especially from February until now, just seeing shifts that have changed or shifts that have happened and things that have changed, and anything that has really come to light for you or transitioned. It's also a really good time to think about yourself as an individual as well as the collective at large. So just thinking about your role individually and what you're offering to the collective, and maybe the work that you're doing, and also looking at if there's ways that you feel that the work you're doing or the role that you're playing is shifting. We've just been through a very intense eclipse season, and there's been probably a lot that's come to light and a lot that has shifted, a lot of potential breakthroughs that took place during that time. So now hopefully you're starting to feel yourself moving into a little bit more of a grounded place with a lot of that, and making these shifts and making them come more into your reality. So also just taking that time to really evaluate that, your role as an individual, and how that also relates to the collective. Aquarius energy is very much about looking at the collective and seeing how we're able to best serve the collective with our unique talents and abilities and skills. So that's another thing that you might want to focus on during this full moon, especially if that resonates with you. So that's just a bit about what to expect going into this Aquarius full moon on Monday. I don't want to get overly detailed. I really try not to get overly detailed with things when I share my insights and interpretations, and I try not to get too specific. I mean, obviously I want to share the information and the energies and the insights that I have, but I also don't want anyone to feel like I'm telling them what they should expect or what they should feel or what should happen, because each of us also has our own unique path and our own unique journey, and we'll feel the influences of these different energies. So even though these outside influences do have different energies and do manifest in different ways, or in specific ways depending on the zodiac, it can all show up a little bit differently for each of us, just because we all have our own unique composition when it comes to astrology and our natal chart, and we're all in different places and on different paths and have different roles. So I don't want anyone to feel like I'm telling them how they should feel. That's why I try not to get too detailed or share too much about all of the comprehensive astrology that's taking place. And I really like to keep it lunar focused. And I do that because the moon, for those of you who may not know in astrology, is very connected to emotions, to intuition, to the feminine energy, to the internal landscape. And that's very much about what I'm trying to do with this work, is to guide you back within yourself, which is very strongly connected to the moon. The moon is very much about your inner world, your inner landscape. So taking what I say, taking what resonates, leaving the rest, and then using what I have shared and feeling your own way through it to see how you really feel about that, and then using it in a way that you feel can benefit you currently in your life and along your path. So I really want you to also tap into your own intuition, your own inner voice, connect with your own inner being and do your inner work, and not just look to something outside of you. And that's so much about what I'm doing with this work. So hopefully that resonates with you. And I think that's really just about it. I will say currently the moon is still in Sagittarius. It's Thursday. We still have the moon in Sagittarius. Tomorrow it will transition to Capricorn. So tomorrow on Friday morning, early Friday morning, Capricorn is where the moon will be. And then I believe it transitions to Aquarius early on Sunday or sometime on Sunday. And then we have that full moon in Aquarius on Monday. So that's a little bit of where we are now with the moon and where it's going to be going into the weekend and as we move into that full moon on Monday. So yeah, please just be so easy with yourselves. Do whatever you need to do for you during this upcoming full moon. I encourage you to really create space for yourself. Do whatever you feel called to do. Journaling is something that I personally do almost every day, and I especially like to do with every new and full moon. And that really gives me a good opportunity when I want to go back and reflect on where I was at certain times during the new and the full moon. So as I was saying earlier, about 6 months ago during the new moon in Aquarius, it's a good time to look back at that time, especially if you've written anything or journaled during that time or set intentions, just to evaluate and see where you may be with those now along your path. So thank you so much for being here, for tuning in, for watching. I really appreciate you being here. For those of you who have made the transition from watching my videos on Instagram to now being here with me on YouTube, I so appreciate that. Thank you so much. Feel free to like this video, to subscribe, to share if you feel called to. As I am new to YouTube now and am making this transition, anything that happens on that spectrum would be great and very much appreciated, just to get some momentum going now that I'm making this transition to YouTube. And yes, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. For those of you who are new to me, I will link some of my information down below in the comments so that you can see my email address and also my Instagram account if you want to find me and follow me over there on Instagram. So I hope you're all doing so well, being so easy with yourselves. I'm sending you so much love, so much light, wishing all of you abundant full moon blessings for this upcoming full moon in Aquarius. And I will be with you again soon. Take care, friends. Bye.